Once again, put your hand together to give warm welcome to our esteemed guest, our CMD, Ms. Anurradha Prasad, Senior Advisor of BAG Network, Ms. Ravina Raj Kohli, Mr. Anurag Batra, and Mr. Amit Kumar. Mr. Hareshendra Verdhan is also with us. He's a head PR and media IFFCO. Give a big round of applause. And let's start the welcome by presenting the bouquet. So I would like to request Ms. Niharika Dugal to present the bouquet to Mr. Anurag Batra, Chairman at GBN Media and Chairman and Editor-in-Chief at Exchange for Media Group. Put your hands together, guys. Ms. Risha Singh to present the bouquet to Mr. Hareshendra Verdhan, Head PR and Media IFFCO. जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करो बेटे. I request Ms. Khushbu to present the bouquet to Mr. Amit Kumar. Ma'am, we welcome you, and Ravina ma'am, you too. Now let's start with today's topic. This is corporate communication as effective medium and brand building.
Let me introduce first. I would like to introduce Mr. Anurag Batra. He is the Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, Exchange for Media. I'm sure we all have heard of it. Mr. Batra is an entrepreneur, journalist, and a media expert. He is the first generation entrepreneur currently serving as a Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Exchange for Media Group. He has been from a very premier, reputed business school, MDI Gurgaon. He has a multi-industry experience, has worked all across in the different field. He has served in HTA, which is now known as JWT, Mindshare. Anurag also serves as a joint managing director of India's leading fortnight magazine, Governance Now. Anurag's work has recently featured in publications like Entrepreneur, Business World, Firstports.com, and various other national and international websites. Welcome, Mr. Anurag. We also have Mr. Hareshendra Verdhan, Head Public Relations and Communications IFFCO. Hareshendra is an experienced communication professional, having worked with IFFCO and two leading advertising agencies, Leo Burnett and Interact Vision, previously known as Mudra. At IFFCO, one of his major achievements is to bring IFFCO back on the map of corporate communications. We welcome you, Mr. Hareshendra. Thank you. And of course, we have Mr. Amit Kumar. Many of us know him. He was the ex-COO revenues at BAG. Prior to that, he had worked in India TV as a revenue head and Star TV. Welcome, Mr. Raj. And we have Ms. Ravina Raj Kohli. Hello, ma'am. I don't think so you need introduction here. Well, Ms. Ravina has a huge experience of 25 years in media, and she has come from Star, and she is right now working as a senior advisor here at BAG. Welcome, ma'am. And of course, Ms. Anurradha Prasad ji. Just few words. News 24, E24, Radio Dhamal, and ISOMES. What do you say, people? Now, I'll not take much of the time. I would like to invite Mr. Anurag Batra to please come and open the session.
Before Anurag ji starts, I'd like to welcome Mr. Batra here. Anurag ji and I go long, I think, many years. We have seen each other grow. And today, with lots of confidence and lots of wishes, I can say that he's somebody who has really marked his way up. Somebody who's created his own, lines, his own junctions, and he's really arrived. So today, he's a really arrived professional, so to say. Mr. He's, when he started the Exchange for Media, the website, people used to question, Are, ye kaun dekhega? What is all this? He's not doing print, but he has been a visionary. He's been a true visionary who started his whole career from, being different, being a professional, working for an organization, then becoming an entrepreneur. And I can tell you, as an entrepreneur, as a co-entrepreneur, that it is so, so, so difficult to survive as an entrepreneur. And he's survived, and it is told the world that, guys, I'm here and I'm rocking. So welcome, Anuragji. Of course, Ravina and I have go long ago. Again, I used to go to her and ask for serials. Soap de do, Sony TV pe kaam karna hai. But she never gave me one. But anyway, she's a thorough professional. One can vouch for her professionalism, her professional integrity, her creative ideas, and molded with the branding and marketing, the branding and the marketing experience that she brings in. So she's a great, help now, and I have passed on all my headaches to Ravina here. So, I call her a senior advisor. Her designation, so-called designation, is senior advisor. But she's just been provided with all the jobs. She's the taskmaster so far as I am concerned. I just pass on my tasks to her and it gets delivered. So that's kind of a quality that she comes in. Amit, of course, you all know, Amit has been an old colleague of ours. He's set up the entire sales for BAG Network at one point of time. Of course, we now, the sales of BAG Network is being handled by the Star Group. But prior to that, he set it up, and with what elan. I mean, I can just say that Amit is one of the few finest professionals that we have in this industry. Of course, Mr. I don't know much about him, but what I know about him, Mr. Hareshendra, is that he comes from the organization, the public sector undertaking, which has hordes and hordes of monies, tons of monies, but I think he's been brought in to bring in to develop the brand, and I think he will do a great job at it, because moving somebody, moving from Mudra and the earlier better ad agencies, I think he is going to be, the backbone of the new face of IFFCO. So welcome to this session here. One more thing, this session is very different from the yesterday's session where you had Prasoon Joshi singing for you all. You demanded and he sang. This is, or Arnab Goswami, who kind of, whom you people really look up to. He's your role model. Today's session is actually ye piche ka session. Agar ye na ho na, to ye kuch bhi nahi chalega. Nothing will work. If there is no money, no media organizations can work. So ultimately, this is the session that is going to give you people the platform to be a good media professionals. Agar ye nahi hoga, to kuch bhi nahi hoga. So it's a very important session, and always remember that if you want to be a good journalist, if you want to be a good media professional, you have to be a very good have to have business acumen, and also understand that how this business works. If business nahi work karega, to kya work karega? Then nothing can work. Then all of us can remain be good professionals, but we all will remain in the four walls. We cannot go out and explore. So thank you for this session. Anuragji, welcome. Please, the dais is yours.
Thank you for inviting me here, and really thanks for the kind word. I don't know whether I deserve them or not, but I'd still like to say thank you. You have to work every day. You have to, if now we have 350 colleagues, so I have to work harder. I have a 4-member family, but I have 350 colleagues that work with me. So really, you described that I am arrived, but in my mind, I'm still struggling, and I think that's what matters to me. Long way to go, and I saw my friend here, and he remember on 20th July how I struggled with the Hindi editors. But I keep struggling. Only when you struggle, you get somewhere. You know, and I'm happy I met Ravina after a long time, and I didn't even know she was living in Delhi, which tells you that I'm working very hard, and so I'm happy. And I met, the moment I walked into the campus, I met Amit, who I've known for a long time, but hadn't met. In fact, I called him the other day and asked him how he was doing. And thank you to make your acquaintance, Harsh. So really, you know, I have a very onerous task of keeping you young people interested and also give you something that you can use. And you know, my task is like the dilemma faced by the seventh husband of Elizabeth Taylor. You know why is the dilemma? Because yesterday Prasoon spoke and Arnab spoke, and you know, both are eloquent in their own ways. Arnab is very eloquent in a certain manner, and of course Prasoon is a lyricist, and he's a copywriter, and he's an ad person. Both are good friends of mine. In fact, tomorrow Arnab's birthday, so you can wish him happy birthday. It's 7th March tomorrow. So it's Arnab's birthday. You can wish whoever you didn't know that it was his birthday. So I'll tell you what was the dilemma faced by the seventh husband of Elizabeth Taylor. Do you know what was the dilemma? No? Does someone of you know? The dilemma was on the night of the honeymoon. The seventh husband of Elizabeth Taylor told Elizabeth Taylor, "Darling, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know how to make it interesting. So I hope over the next 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I make whatever I say interesting." I have how many of you are aware of Exchange for Media? 1, 2, 5 people. So, you know, if you want to be in the business of media, advertising, communication, it's a shameless plug. You should read exchangeformedia.com. It will help you do your job better. Second, क्या मैं हिंदी में बात करूं? वो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा? आप ठीक है, तो मैं इंग्लिश हिंदी दोनों में बात करूंगा. मेरी हिंदी सुदृढ़ है, उतनी अच्छी नहीं है जितनी कई और लोगों की हो, लेकिन ठीक ठाक बोल लेता हूं मैं. तो एक हिंदी की भी हमारी साइट है समाचारफॉरमीडिया.com. आप वो भी पढ़ सकते हैं अगर आप मीडिया में क्या हो रहा है, एडवर्टाइजिंग में क्या हो रहा है, जर्नलिज्म में क्या हो रहा है, कम्युनिकेशन डोमेन में क्या हो रहा है. So I went to a business school. So I normally say PowerPoint presentations are made by people who are neither powerful nor have a point of view. But today I have a small presentation, and I thought I'll be amongst young people. So while I'll talk to you briefly about media, advertising, communication, and the business of media, as Anurradha ji so kindly introduced that, you know, really the business of media is also important. You need to understand the aspects. Even if you're a journalist, really you need to understand how this whole industry is structured. And I normally say, do you know of who media planners buyers are? आपको पता है एक मीडिया प्लानर बायर क्या होता है? नहीं पता? तो जिनको नहीं पता होता उनको मैं ऐसे बताता हूँ कि वो ऐसे लोग हैं जिनकी जर्नलिस्ट से भी ज़्यादा ईगो होती है. ठीक है? तो anyway, so I have a small presentation. I like to show it to you. आप you know so अगर वो आप चला पाए तो whenever it comes. So मैं आपको पता है एडवर्टाइजिंग इंडस्ट्री कितनी बड़ी है? कितने हजार करोड़ की है हमारी एडवर्टाइजिंग इंडस्ट्री? कितनी बड़ी है? कोई गेस तो लीजिए आप. There's an iPad 5 to be won and an iPhone S5 to be won next year, of course, but for now. So the advertising industry is 30,000 crores. If I don't take the distribution revenues, which is another 30,000 crores. So उसमें से जो 30,000 करोड़ है, उसमें से टेलीविजन में सिर्फ अभी कोई 16-17 हज़ार करोड़ रुपए आता है, और अबाउट 10,000 करोड़ प्रिंट में चला जाता है, और बाकी आउटडोर में डिजिटल बहुत बढ़ रहा है. इंटरनेट एडवर्टाइजिंग इज ग्रोइंग, एंड देन द रेस्ट गोज इनटू यू नो अबाउट 6-7% goes into, actually less, around 5% goes into radio, and then a little bit in mobile, a little bit in cinema, but the dominant medium is television, and television is growing. And in media, what matters is the content and the brand. It doesn't matter whether the content is being seen or consumed on a television screen, or is it consumed on an iPad or a phone or a tablet. So एक तो मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि मीडिया इंडस्ट्री 30,000 करोड़ की है, और अगले कुछ सालों में होपफुली 10-12% की दर से बढ़ती रही तो और बड़ी हो जाएगी. दूसरी बात ये कहना चाहूँगा कि हमारे डोमेन में सिर्फ 3 लोग हैं जो इम्पॉर्टेंट है. एक तो कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स, विच इज़ मीडिया कंपनीज, देन इज मीडिया एजेंसीज, which are now very specialized, and third is the advertisers. I'm simplifying it. In the broadcasting business, there is a cable operator, there's an MSO, but basically ये तीन लोग important है. And hence, the people in marketing, in branding, in ad agencies, and in today agencies, when I used to work for an ad agency, it was what I call a single service, full service agency. The agency would do everything from creative to media planning to buying. Today there is a separate agency for media planning and there is a separate agency for buying, so that there is no conflict of interest. Today there is a separate digital agency, there is a separate mobile agency, there is a separate PR agency, there is a separate experiential agency. There is so much. There is a specialist rural marketing agency. I mean, there is no end to specialization. So, जिस तरह मीडिया में भी स्पेशलाइजेशन का दौर है, आप लोग एक डोमेन को पकड़ के उस डोमेन के एक्सपर्ट या स्पेशलिस्ट बन सकते हैं. मीडिया एडवर्टाइजिंग कम्युनिकेशन में भी बहुत ज़्यादा स्पेशलाइजेशन हो गया. एंड व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ ब्रांड्स, हमारे brands are, a lot of people debate whether advertising is content or not. How many of you feel that advertising is also content? How many of you feel advertising is also content? And how many of you feel advertising is not content? It's advertising. And hence it's unwanted. None of you feel. So more people feel. So advertising for a consumer is very, very important information. If you take a newspaper, you take a magazine, you like a TV channel, when housewives or young people see an offer, it is content for them to action, to implement, to act upon, to consume. So, I'd like to say that in the ecosystem of media, the three players, the media companies, the media agencies, and the consumer are the most important people, or the advertiser, whichever way. At the end of the advertiser is reaching out to the consumer through a media platform. So, how many of you want to go into digital journalism? How many of you want to work in television? How many of you want to be entrepreneurs? अपना काम कौन शुरू करना चाहते हैं? और आप लोग क्या करेंगे? अपनी वेबसाइट खोलेंगे, क्या करेंगे? वेबसाइट चलाएंगे. How many of you know of AIB? AIB? I can't pronounce the last word, but it's a little bad. It's called All India something B, but basically it's a comedy network. And how many of you know the Viral Fever, TVF? I mean, so why don't you start, initiatives like that? So, has my presentation come on? It's coming on. So I can talk to you till the presentation comes on. See, I want to tell you, I'm a failed education entrepreneur. I started a media school with a friend about 9 years back, and after 5 years I shut down. In fact, one of my students, Rubika, used to be an anchor with you. And so, media ki aap education pa rahe hain, what is very important is employability. Anurradha ji has organized this whole initiative. Kal aap Arnab ko leke aayi, Prasoon ko leke aayi, aaj Amit, Ravina, Harsh aur main yahan hai. This is to increase your employability, because theoretical skills will take you till a point. What matters is, what are the other skills that you have? Do you network well with people? Do you relate well with people? Do you know what's happening in the industry? How many of you read newspapers? Newspapers have a safe business. How many of you read blogs, websites? Right. It is a stupid question to ask how many of you are on Facebook or LinkedIn, but how many of you are not on Facebook? Oh, you guys have a real life, right? तो एक मैं आपको वाक्य सुनाना चाहूँगा. मेरा एक दोस्त है, जर्नलिस्ट फ्रेंड है, आज उसका मॉर्निंग में भी है, 45 साल का है, सिंगल. तो 2 साल पहले उसने फेसबुक पे पोस्ट किया, आई वॉन्ट टू कमिट सुसाइड, और उसके 45 दोस्तों ने बोला वी लाइक दिस. तो social media is not content, it's frivolous. What is content is what is created in newsrooms, or what is created in a integrated newsroom, in a integrated media company, whether it's a magazine facing brand or it is a newspaper facing brand. So going forward, what matters is that branded content, as I call it. What is done by companies like BAG is branded content. So really, there are opportunities beyond journalism. I want to talk to you and tell you that while you may look at journalism jobs, you may want to go into production, you may want to join internet startups. You may want to start your own company. Today there are more opportunities of being an entrepreneur than there were earlier. How many of you want to go and get into PR? How many of you want to get into event management? How many of you want to get into, let's say, social media marketing? Right? So, you know, explore unusual careers. Yes, you came to ISOMES, which is a premier communication school, but don't restrict yourself to journalism. और हिंदी भाषा की पत्रकारिता कितने लोग करना चाहते हैं? बहुत अच्छी बात है. हिंदी भाषा की पत्रकारिता के आसपास जितने भी ब्रांड्स हैं मीडिया में, वो आज बहुत तरक्की कर रहे हैं. आप भास्कर को देखिए, जागरण को देखिए, हिंदी न्यूज़ चैनल को देखिए. दे हैव बिकम एन इंटेग्रल पार्ट ऑफ द डिस्कोर्स इन सोसाइटी एंड information platform which not only people in the rural areas watch, but people like us who live in cities also watch Hindi channels, and they're very, very important. So, you know, I hope my presentation it has not come on board. So I just wanted to tell you, I wanted to show you 2 videos, but I basically wanted to tell you that when you go out, कब graduate करेंगे? 16. अगले 3 साल जब आप कैंपस में 3 चीज़ें करिए. आप सिर्फ, मैं आपको ज़रा प्रैक्टिकल बातें बताऊंगा. एक तो, you know, you have to increase your knowledge quotient, and one of the slides in my presentation is be interesting, and that doesn't mean be interesting mean pierce your ear or wear weird clothes or have, you know, paint your color hair color red or whatever. It means intellectually, knowledge wise, you should be deep or you should be interesting. When I go to an event, when I go to a party, when I am in a work scenario, I want to talk to people with whom I can have a conversation, who have knowledge. So increase your knowledge quotient about the industry, what's happening. Read, be interesting. My slide says be interesting, and that doesn't mean do weird thing. Second is, while you're in the campus, you know, Anurradha ji organized today's event. I mean, she called me, she didn't, but you know, someone of you should be organizing things here. I'm sure you've contributed, but you should take on the onus of creating student platforms or creating events, because that will help you when you go in for an interview, when you go for a corporate job. Third is very, very important, and I believe that people like you have to learn not only from people in the marketing, advertising, media business domain, or journalists, or people like Prasoon who are really multifaceted, but you have to learn beyond these domains. And what I mean is, you can learn about communication from an actor, you can learn about communication from an author, you can learn about communication from a politician, because they're connecting with people better than communicators, the so-called communicators. An author who sells 8.5 lakh copies of his or her book is a communicator. An entertainer who is able to enthrall people is a communicator. A politician who is able to get his or her message across is a politician. So while you may look at traditional ways of learning, learn from these people. And last but not the least, when I was in my business school and when I was in my engineering school, I would, you know, I wouldn't say network. I think network is the wrong word. But I would reach out to people. When I was, you know, I know CEOs who are today large CEOs. When they came to my campus to lecture, they became my friends. And I was very, very young. I was 21, and you know, they continue to be my friends over the last 20 years in my journey. I can give you 5, 6 names. They have, you know, actually become very close friends of mine. And, you know, they were my friends when I was even nobody. So, you know, I think I learned a lot from them, which helped me in career in an indirect manner. It may not have helped me in a direct manner, but indirectly I learned from them. They were my wise counsel. So I think you should connect with people in the industry, with people from various walks of life. As far as media advertising is concerned, as I shared with you, it's a 30,000 crore industry in terms of advertising, in terms of, you know, distribution revenues, very little of which comes to broadcasters, and hopefully with the benefits of digitization over the next 24 to 30 months, most of it will come to broadcasters. It's another 30,000 crores. And you take the ancillary part of our ecosystem, it is another 10,000 crore. तो आप एक 70,000 करोड़ की इंडस्ट्री में काम कर रहे हैं. आप लोगों का ये जज्बा होना चाहिए कि आप लोग काम करके अगले 5 साल में, 10 साल में 70,000 करोड़ की इंडस्ट्री को 2 लाख करोड़ कैसे बना सकते हैं? बिकॉज ये इंडस्ट्री तभी ग्रो करेगी जब आप लोगों की एम्बिशन होगी. अगर इंडिविजुअल, आज आप लोगों को यहाँ पे पढ़ाई मिल रही है और एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है बैग which has News 24, which has E24, which has a religious channel. It created employment because somebody had the vision to do it. Anurradha ji had the vision to do it. So really, you have to have that ambition. How many of you really believe that you will change the media business? आप अगर मीडिया एडवर्टाइजिंग कम्युनिकेशन है, आप लोगों में ऐसे कितने लोग हैं जिनको लगता है कि आप ऐसा कुछ करेंगे जो किसी ने नहीं किया और इस इंडस्ट्री को चेंज कर देंगे? 10 लोग हैं, कोई बात नहीं. आप 10 लोग भी अगर चेंज कर दें तो ये देश बदल जाएगा. मैं इतना एक लास्ट चीज़ कह करके बैठना चाहूँगा बिकॉज देर आर so many other people I'd like to listen to on the dais. I just want to tell you that कोई बात नहीं है. As I said, PowerPoint presentations are made by people who are neither powerful nor have a point of view. So I think that joke is caught on and the presentation is not working. But really, I would end by saying one thing to you. That life is full of struggle. And, I'm doing okay, but, you may only see the good part of what I achieve. You may not see what goes behind it. Or Anurradha ji's created this fantastic network and this fantastic communication school. But you may not see, maybe she spends much lesser time than she wants to spend with her daughter or with her husband or, with her loved ones. So I want to recommend to you to see a video. It's called The Last Lecture. आप में से कितने लोगों ने देखा है? लास्ट लेक्चर देखा हुआ है? 3-4 लोगों ने. बाकी लोग देखेंगे लास्ट लेक्चर? तो मैं आपको उसके बारे में से थोड़ा सा बताना चाहूँगा. मैं उसको कम से कम 20 बार देख चुका हूँ. 1 घंटे का है. मैं 5-5, 10-10 मिनट तो बहुत बार देख चुका हूँ, अनगिनत बार. बट मैं उसको पूरा मैंने 20 बार देखा होगा, 25 बार देखा होगा. जब भी मैं देखता हूँ, एक चीज़ मैं अपने आप को बोलता हूँ कि we tell ourselves when we achieve something, when we get somewhere, we'll do a lot of things. Stop that. It is about a guy called Randolph Pash. He was called Randy Posh, and he died at the age of 48 or 49. He had terminal pancreatic cancer, और उनको पता लगा कि उनको terminal pancreatic cancer है. तो उन्होंने वो उदास नहीं हुए, नाराज नहीं हुए. He did his last lecture. He gathered his students, he gathered his friends, he gathered his faculty, and he talked to them that what would you do if your lecture was the last lecture you had to do. And the lecture is simply about, I don't know what message you will take out from that. For me, it is simply about not losing your childhood dreams. Your parents, whoever is your family, have childhood dreams. As you grow up, don't forget your childhood dreams. And I'm assuming most of your childhood dreams are noble. They are things that, are simple, fun, and not complex things. I don't know what your childhood. I have a childhood dream and I'm still pursuing that. And it also talks about, spending time with your loved ones. All this work is great and, all of us want to be successful, all of us want to make a difference. I think to me, as I grow, my parents are getting. I was talking to my mom, who's going to be 74 in a couple of months. And, I don't think I spend enough time with my mom and dad. My mom and dad are luckily healthy and alive. And I don't spend enough time with my mom and dad. I think whatever you do, keep your loved ones close. And, I'd recommend another book. I read a lot of books called Tuesdays with Mori. आप में से कितनों ने पढ़ी है? Tuesdays with Mori. आप अगर अपनी ज़िंदगी बदलना चाहते हैं, एडवर्टाइजिंग मार्केटिंग पे तो मैं आपको दिन भर कुछ ना कुछ बता सकता हूँ. लेकिन I want you to watch this video. It's 1 hour video. YouTube पे है, free है. Just go there and watch this 1 hour video and buy this book called Tuesdays with Mori. I think it's 200 rupees. I think you spend that much money on a burger or a movie outing or what have you. Just buy this book and read it. If you read these two, you'll anyway do well in your profession or whatever you do choose to do. And हम सब, अनुराधा जी, मैं, Ravina, Amit, हम सब, we are creating wealth. But I call this wealth, at least myself, is what I'm creating is selfish wealth. I call it sampati. I think as I grow older and I meet a lot of younger people who are 21 first want to give back before they achieve. When I was younger, I first wanted to achieve something and then give back. I think today I meet a lot of young people who first want to give and then achieve. For them, giving is achieving. I think I'd like you to create sampada. It is my favorite thing that goes in my head. And I believe businesses are a force for good. Brands are a force for good. They provide employment. And recently the CSR bill was introduced. I believe, it's an unfortunate part that in our country we have to bring a CSR bill. We have to make it compulsory for corporates to do good things. So you're saying the 97% of what the corporate does is not so good, but the 3% that it will donate is good. I believe corporates, just by providing employment, just by making sure that we have better lives, because some products, some things have made our lives better. I think that's good enough. So I would like to leave you with this message that, please be a force for good. You will achieve things automatically. Don't worry about, what brands do, what advertising do. That you need to worry. But I think what you need to do is to look at a bigger picture and funnel down and be a better human being. Thank you.